What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ZBCN today. It is the 18th day of December, and here we are sitting at about $0.00242 with 5 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are. Here we are. Pulling back, looking like this will not be our low area. We likely will go lower. We'll see. We'll look at the short-term stuff and we'll see. But the fact that you rejected that golden ratio doth butter no parsnips. It seems as though we are going to go lower, my friends. But let's look at the short-term stuff and see. Because Zebec has been... I feel like everything's been kind of tricky since the 21st of November. But for some reason, I feel like I fall for the traps more with ZBCN than I do with anything else. I don't know why. But let's look in the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there, okay? 1 hour time frame here, dropping. You still have this, it's such a nice, on a 1 hour time frame, it is such a nice kind of like double bottom setup here. It's a real shame the past 3 hours look this way. Because that really is, I mean, here, I would have been, you couldn't have convinced me to be bearish. But now it's like, this is a failed setup. Failed setups, they're typically bearish. 1 hour time frame here, you rejected the overbought zone, as you have consistently. It's like you want to be bullish, but you just won't do it. Stochastics are bearish. The MACD is at the same place that it was the last time that we rejected as well. Bearish on all accounts. We look at the 4 hour time frame, and the stochastics rejecting the same area it rejected before. The RSI giving higher highs. The stochastics giving higher highs. The price giving lower highs. Hidden bearish divergence is what that is. And the MACD, there's no hidden bearish divergence on the MACD, but we did have a nice bounce here off our oscillators, and it didn't provide anything. It's sad. You had some good things going for you, and you did nothing with them. Therefore, bad things will probably happen, honestly. It reminds me, like what we're doing here, we look at this on a 1 hour time frame. What we're doing right here with this, and then we came down, this setup here reminds me exactly of what we saw here on a larger scale on the 4 hour time frame, right? Like just like this. It's literally the exact same, except we haven't seen the downtrend yet. In reference here, then, you know, if this is that much bigger than this one is, the downtrend that we should see should be pretty small. It shouldn't be that big. I'm still wondering if we do go below this low, or if we find support there. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if we went below this low, but I'm not there yet. I don't know if I would expect that. I do expect that we go lower than these lows, but not lower than this low. Right, the 886 from this low here on the 21st of November to the high here on the 25th of November, the 886 is right there at 00228, and I just feel like in the context of this versus this in anticipation of what's coming next, I feel like that is an appropriate move. It's completely appropriate. 00228. It makes sense to me. Maybe we can do one better. Let's just see. Let's leave up I'll bring that fib up in a second. We'll see if it lines up with anything. But from a low point to a high point, you went down to your 1886 level. That's where you bounced. From a low point to your high point, the 1886 is right there at 00209. That is below that low. So no, that would be below the 886. Maybe we do go below the low. I don't know. But lower. I'm pretty confident that we do go lower. 4 hour time frame here. RSI, hidden bearish divergence, bearish MACD, bearish on all accounts. Lower. Lower we go. And that's okay. That is fine. Daily time frame here, looking at this. The RSI is bearish as well. You look like you want to bounce out of the oversold zone here. Today's only up 1.5%. We have about 5 hours left in the day. I wouldn't count on it, man. I wouldn't count on it. Building bearish momentum on the daily time frame. Stochastics are bearish, 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 bearish. That's all it is, man. You want to play a drinking game, watch this video and drink every time I say the word bearish. From a low to a high, 0.5, 069 down here. I mean, if the worst, this is something that I'm not considering, but just because of the dynamics in the fibs, let's address it. The worst, if the worst were to happen, you could go all the way down to 0016, sorry, 0017 is what it looks like, to 00, is that 144? Yeah, 144. Worst case scenario, that's what would happen. Still a golden ratio bounce, still a higher low. You generate massive amounts of panic because we'd be below all these lows that you've been holding up for months now. And you'd probably be down there for such a short amount of time, it doesn't matter anyways. And then still all those higher prices. The only thing that might be negative about this is that might hurt your chances for seeing a 3 to 4.5 cent price, right? At that point, maybe then we're considering a 3 cent to 1.7 cent price. And these are the 1886 200 level here, the 1618 there. If we take this high to low, and delete. Let me try and delete the smaller one. Let's just see. Is that no? So that doesn't need to be there. What about this one? Is this the one that I need to delete? Yes. So like here, high to low, we've been anticipating that we would go to the 2272 2618. But if we dropped down here, right, the 2272 2618, those are deep levels. But if we dropped down to this level here, that doesn't just mean that, oh, now let's shift this, now let's shift this up to the 2272 2618. No, that's not how it works. Now it would be like the 1618 to the 200 level. And that would shift our targets down to 1.8 to 3.3 cents. Still from here, phenomenal growth. But if we go lower, the reason being that that move up would already be bigger than this move up at this price if we came from a lower price. So all that to say, and again, I want to be very clear here, I do not anticipate this to happen, but the only reason I'm talking about it at all is because of how deconstructive we've been with the fibs recently. Right, throughout this time, we actually have been being at the 0.5 to find support, coming back down here. The automatic thought that my mind goes to is we'll go down to the golden ratio. I'm not calling for that now. There's too many other things involved. It's not that simple, but it could be. Your worst case scenario, besides rug pull, might be that you go to the golden ratio, you find a higher low, and then you bounce. And then instead of a 3 to 4.5 cent price, maybe it's a 1.8 to 3.5 cent price that you achieve. I don't think that happens, but again, we're addressing it not because I think it'll happen, but because we should be aware of possibilities. As far as when would that happen, when would I be concerned that does happen? I mean, if we take out that low, that would probably be it. If it's a fake out, like if we go like this, we have a quick little low reaction and then we come back up, that's fine. But if we start closing days below, let's say like 002, we start closing days below 002, there's very little in the way at that point. Oh, come on, I'm trying to get it. Of stopping you from going to the golden ratio zone there. Let's get this on there properly, yeah. 0017 to 00144. If you close below 002, because that's our daily high closes over here, that's also below our 0.5, and that's also below all these lows. If you were to close below 002, that would be it. That would convince me that we go down to this area. But until then, I think we're fine. And I don't anticipate that we'll go that low. Lower than here, sure, lower from here, but I think that we'll bounce. We're overall just in this, I think, horizontal range, consolidating, finding support at prior resistance here, and we're ready to move up. We're at the base of this range. And here's a thought too. If you are scared, let me promote this thought in you real quick, okay? If you're intimidated by the possibility, not the probability, but the possibility of going down there. If you're intimidated, first and foremost, short-lived, and then we will return higher. You'll probably return to new all-time highs in a very short amount of time after that, right? Like the amount of time it took to get from this high down to where we are now, I bet from where we are now to getting to new all-time highs, it will be less time than that. Okay, I bet it'll be less time than that, even if we go lower. And then second to that, if you're intimidated by this, what was I going to say? Oh, what was it? I can't remember what it was. Damn, it was a really good, man, it would have calmed any nerves if that was to happen. It's probably not going to happen, though. It probably won't happen. That's just my thoughts. But we would be at prior areas of resistance to find support. It'd be a very significant level to find support. You know, it's nothing bad. I'm really upset right now because I got distracted. What was it? What was the other thing? Just buy the dip. Hold. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Okay. If you are intimidated, if you're hearing that we could drop down here, let's put it in perspective. Let's shed a light on this, okay? Because if we were to drop down to the golden ratio zone, and again, I don't think it's going to happen. We're addressing it as a possibility because it's most obvious as a possibility now, right? If we were to make this and that intimidates you, think about since May. Okay? When have the best times to buy been? When have they been? They've been right at these levels right now. Even if we go down, we'll still come up, and these are still some of the best levels to buy. It really is. Because at the end of the day, we're going to see new all-time highs. That's the expectation. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.